the people and by the people. Some of you may know Right2Change. You certainly know Right2Water. Right2Change includes education. It includes a policy for holding our politicians accountable. It includes education, debt, and about 9 other policies which have totally dropped out of my head. This is what it's really all about. This is why we have to go out and we have to seek out candidates that are going to stand in our interests. If they're not working in our interest, they don't deserve to be elected, they don't deserve to be in the Dáil or the Shannon, and we just have to give them their P45 and send them home. Now I'm not going to harp on, I'm only here to give introductions. So there's 3 speakers, and the 3 speakers are going to talk on 3 different rights that are part of Right2Change. The first one is Seamus Healy, and he's going to talk about Right2Water. The second is Seamus Morris, and he's going to talk about right to housing. And the third is David James, and he's going to talk about right to health. So I'm going to call Seamus Healy now.
Right to Ribblesdorn, Cormina Magwiv. Thanks for turning out on such a desperate day in big numbers to send a message to Enda at his conference, Fine Gael conference this weekend, that we're going to abolish these water charges, that we're going to make water a public good, and that we're going to force a referendum to ensure that that's put into our constitution. These water charges are unfair and unjust, and we are paying for water. We have paid for water, not once but twice, but we will not pay again for water. We pay through the normal taxation system for water, have always done so, but we will not be charged a second time. This will not be charged a second time. We will not be forced by austerity of this government to substitute, we will not be forced by this government to pay for water. Water that's a human right, that's vital for health, that's vital for living. And we're going to abolish these water charges in the course of this general election campaign. And we're going to have... And shortly after this election, we're going to have a referendum that will ensure that water is a public good and in our constitution as such. This whole water charges, water tax campaign, this campaign that has resulted in response to this water tax is hugely important, because it sends a message from ordinary people, working families on low and middle incomes, who have been crucified by this government, crucified by austerity. And we want to send a message to this government: it simply has to stop. These water taxes are an example of everything that's wrong, everything that's bad about this government. And one of the things that we have to do, we have to hold politicians and governments accountable for what they do, accountable for the commitments they make in general elections, accountable for the promises they make in general elections. And remember the promise that the Labour Party made in 2011. They were opposed to water charges, they told us. Alan Kelly knocked on every door in North Tipperary saying, put me in there and I'll stop Fine Gael introducing water charges. Huge hypocrisy. He now introduces the water charges himself. We are going to have to stop that and make politicians like him accountable to people, accountable to be recalled by the people at any time if they don't meet the commitments and meet the promises that they make in the course of a general election. Look, there's other speakers to come. Thanks again for a big turnout on such a bad day, but it just shows that Right2Water are here, Right2Water are strong, Right2Water is going to abolish these water taxes in the course of this general election campaign.